the power lesson of which we speak today, this idea of like diets just not working, whether they're not working for you physically or mentally or financially or whatever the issue is, like either can't stick to the diet or you don't like it or you don't feel good when you start eating real food, or you're not sure whether to do the blood type diet or the keto diet or the vegan diet or like whatever, right? Like there always seems to be some kind of issue, some problem that comes up where it's just not freaking working. But you still either need or want to lose some weight. So it's like, what do you do? It kind of feels like you're on the last block, right? Last house on the last block down the last street going, what now? What now? What do I do? And so, I often feel like what I do is kind of like the last resort. But I mean, it's kind of like if you lose something and you go searching for it, it's like, why is it always in the last place that I looked? And it's like, well, obviously, because if you kept looking after you found what you were looking for, that would be weird. Right? So it's a little bit about perspective, right? It's a little bit about, well, obviously you stop looking once you kind of have found something that works. And that has been my experience as well. And I hadn't totally like put some of the pieces together. And so I'm going to help you decipher if this is possibly something that could work for you. And what even is this something that I'm talking about? Well, my name is Rose Stein. What's up? So I am a health coach. I am a nutrition consultant, and I also am a hypnotherapist. And so this combination of understanding the body and some of the things that go on with the body, because there isn't necessarily like one thing that works for all people. I mean, there is definitely a general starting place that is really good to start off with getting rid of certain types of foods. I mean, it does not take a rocket scientist to figure out what I'm talking about here, right? Like the kind of foods where you wake up groggy the next day, you don't really feel very great, the kind of foods that maybe are like super exciting, you kind of have to have them, in the moment, that's like quick and easy and have a long shelf life, but aren't totally fit for the human body. I mean, obviously taking a step in that direction, but really where the kicker was for me personally, and what I found for a lot of my clients, is the mental part. It is that emotional connection between the physical action of like whatever you're eating or not eating or whatever your plan is, and the action that it takes to actually follow through with that. It is an emotional thing. We are emotional beings. And so the way that we think about things create an experience in the body and a physical emotion, like a representation of our thinking. And then of course that's going to flow into our actions. And oftentimes you think, but that's actually the opposite of what I want. Like the typical example that I give is if you are, on this path where you're eating well for your body, and say there's some event, some party that you're going to, there's going to be some kind of thing there. I'll just call it cake. It could be any number of things. And you keep telling yourself like, I'm not going to eat the cake. I'm not going to eat the cake. I'm not going to eat the cake. You think that your thinking is in alignment with what it is that you want to do, which is not eat the cake. But the crazy thing is the way that the brain works and the way that emotions are stored and the way that we actually create a pathway of activity for ourselves. So what I mean by pathway of activity, it's like our actions, like the habits that progress from our thinking, because everything that exists has first start as a thought. So every person that has any kind of success that you're wanting to have in the weight loss and emotional, I'm going to call it emotional maturity. It's emotional freedom around food and body image. That kind of experience, it first started as a thought. Like they didn't just wake up one day and it was there and they had never thought that was something that they wanted, right? Like that transition from not having it to having it first starts as a thought. And so a lot of times people think that like, oh no, if I just set a boundary, if I just created a habit for myself where I'm not doing these things, then I will feel better. And oftentimes what ends up happening is that we can like willpower ourselves through that for a minute, but we either like end up going to the store on the way home, or a couple days later, we end up breaking on something else and then going and finally getting that thing that we thought that we wanted to like satisfy that craving, because it had become such a ginormous thing inside of our minds. And so a way better way to navigate that is to actually detour and go a totally different direction, right? Like when it comes to, it's an interesting thing about hypnosis. It's like, well, let's relax into a different experience. Let's have the frame of reference, obviously, of what it is that we are wanting to do in terms of drink more water and exercise more and like, eat better for ourselves and that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously, all of us are working on that. As a matter of fact, cheers to staying hydrated. You can always have like a little glass of water, like somewhere near, or like when you remember it, just take a sip. It's like, it makes it so much easier than trying to like drink eight glasses of water because someone said so somewhere along the way. It's like you just have it right there, like in your space, in your place. It makes it so much easier. Okay, so this idea of having this like emotional freedom when it comes to body image and weight loss does not often happen by going at it directly, right? Like, this is what I'm going to have. It's the same thing as like not eating the cake, right? It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to eat the cake. I'm not going to eat the cake. I'm not going to eat the cake. And then you end up going to the party, either obsessing on it or eating the cake or getting the cake when you go home. And so a much better way is to go about it a completely different way and begin to think about how it is that you want to feel, like your best feeling. Like, what is it that peace of mind around food and body image would actually provide you? Like, what is it that living at your natural and ideal weight within like, a regular healthy range and like figuring out what that means for you, what does that actually provide you? Is it a sense of freedom? Is it peace of mind? Is it confidence? Is it a feeling of like that, right? Like, is there not even really words for it? It just is like a weight off of your shoulders, literally. Like it's a weight off of your body, but it's like a weight off of your mind. It's like more space to actually think. A weight off of your shoulders. It's something that you don't have to worry about or think about or concern yourself about, right? Is it just a general feeling of health? Is the weight really tied to health conditions that are out of control? So begin to think about the way that you actually imagine feeling when all of the pieces of the puzzle have been put into place, and this is no longer an issue for you. And when you start to get into that mindset and that mind frame, it is extremely powerful, because now you're not coming at it from, I'm going to control my mind so that then I feel better. It's a subtle difference, but you're coming at it from a totally different angle. And you're beginning to allow yourself the opportunity to create feelings and emotions that you actually want. And it's allowing the expectation to move from the inside like a spark, like an inner spark of divine light and love and awareness that comes from the inside. It is an inspiration to be inspired. And what that does is the body will then translate that feeling and that emotion into thinking. And once the thinking has got a hold of what it is that you want to be feeling, it is a natural progression into the actions that are going to provide you more of that feeling. It is very similar to how it goes the other way, and it can like spiral kind of like downhill out of control. It can spiral uphill and in control, right? Where you're beginning to build some momentum of what you actually want. So now as we're thinking about the party and the way that we want to feel, it's like, Oh yeah, man. Like I love going to a party where I can have conversations with other people and meet other people and wear the clothes that I want to wear, where I'm feeling really good and I'm just kind of like perusing around. And I mean, who knows where the party is? Like maybe it's at an awesome place that has incredible scenery and you could check it out, or maybe there's some awesome people that you want to check out, or maybe you're bringing an incredible gift that will add to the decor and the environment. I've been growing seeds like from little seedlings. And so when I go places, I've been bringing people these like little babies that I have grown from seed, and I've watered them and I've put them outside and I've made sure that they have soil and nutrition and sun and they're beginning to grow. And I know that they're going to fruit or sprout into a plant that's going to love, that's going to nurture, like literally love and nurture that person's body. And so when I give something like that to somebody, there's so much love and care and expectation and brilliance and love and life that comes from that. It is like invigorating in a way that I hope you understand exactly what it is that I am talking about, which is so much more cool than bringing like a donut. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, yeah, their eyes might like light up for a moment. They go, oh, I shouldn't, I'm being so naughty. Oh, I'll just have one bite. And then they feel like crap later. It's different, right? It's a different experience when you bring something that is actually life-giving and not just like that like moment, that hit that we get from the processed sugar flour stuff. It's a small shift. It's a subtle shift. And yet it provides an incredibly abundant feeling, which is like part of what we're all looking for here, right? To feel comfortable and confident and abundant and healthy and vibrant and alive and all of that good stuff. Okay, yeah. So like the diet, it's like no wonder the diet is not working if we're going at it from this like very controlling, like just doing it so that like our body then reacts differently or looks differently or is different. There's like an implied judgment. So if there is like an emotional piece to your eating where you're like soothing with food, which I think we kind of all do on some level. Like some of us take it to a point where like now you can see it on our body and we're like, darn it, and some people you can't really see it. So it's not really an issue. But if there is that emotional eating piece, then it's going to be really important that you have something else besides a diet, because that mentality, especially if it's been years, I mean, I don't really need to sit here and preach to you. If it's been decades that you've been back and forth with weight and like the frustration and the disappointment and the gaining and the losing and the gaining and the losing and the mindset around it and the frustration and the not wanting to go places. I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you know, and it is a crappy way to be. It's a crappy way to live because it just is like, it feels like it never ends and it's never good enough. Oh yeah. So if diets are just not freaking working for you, but you still need to for your health or want to for your own comfort in your body to lose weight, I would re-listen to what I was just saying here and get some support either from myself. I am a health coach. I am a hypnotherapist. I do have a 3-month program. I also do a morning rise and shine where we get together every morning, Monday through Friday, and do just 15 minutes. So it's like 5 minutes of journaling, just right, like getting the mindset, like in the direction that we want to go for the day. 5 minutes of body movement and stretching, which is like incredible to get the mind and then the body all functioning together and the blood flowing, the digestive system going. And then also 5 minutes of meditation meaning to become familiar with, right? Like acknowledging that the mindset is an important piece and allowing the mind and the body to come together in a way that is, again, that word, inspiring. Allowing the mind and the body to come together in a way that is inspiring. So you're not relying on motivation from the outside, whether it's weight or how we look, or even buttoning our jeans, which is nice, but that's still an external motivation, right? When it comes from the inside, when there is an alignment, then we're not fighting ourselves anymore. Then there's not really this question of like, should I, shouldn't I? Ooh, I've been naughty. Maybe I should. I'm going to have a little bit more, like all the lies that we tell ourselves to like, I don't even, it's like funny when you take a step back from it and go, really? Well, what? Like, how did I even believe that in the moment? And then the next time we're like, I'm not going to believe it next time. And then there we are again, like this fight inside the mind. So if you really want to put the argument down, you got to align, right? Because it's the mind and the body that argue with each other, right? It's the logic and then the body screaming at like, no, just get it in there, because we need the soothing that happens from like whatever that food is. And so the mind and the body, they're like going back and forth, and the soul's just like, you guys done yet? Right? Like, are you done fighting? Like, let's just go in a direction. Happy to go in either direction. Like, let's just be friends. So when we get those parts of ourselves, working together, it actually becomes a joy, right? Like we need the mind in all of its glory to do all of the planning and preparing and figuring out and logicalizing, our life. And then of course we need the body to take action. So these things do come together and can work together very nicely once we begin to understand how each piece works the best. And then taking some time to direct our mind, right? To encourage our body and to listen to our soul, bringing those together. All right. Well, I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. This is like quite a journey that we are all on in the health and wellness space. I mean, just having a mind and a body and a soul together in one space, trying to figure out this life thing is quite the epic journey. So very proud of you for all that you have done and all of that you have overcome, and your desire and your willingness to continue on, right? And to know that there's always, not like in a bad way, like in a good way, right? Like there's always more love, there's more inspiration, there's more opportunity, there's more grace, there's more acceptance, there's more love, there's more compassion, there's more of all of these things for us in each day. So you are amazing, and do not worry yourself at all if the diets are just not working and you are now ready to really incorporate that mind piece into it, that mindset. I'm here for you. I love you very much. Hope you're having a really wonderful day. And if you have any topics that you would like me to specifically address, let me know. Love to cover them for you. Love you. Bye.